Welcome back to the Gore Guide. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. This is a seasonal special where I'll be running through the top 10 goriest festive themed horror films. This video is one part of a double bill of seasonal specials, so don't forget to check out my other video, Santa Slashers, a top 10 of the goriest Santa themed slasher films. There's a card for it just up here. As I mentioned in my Santa Slasher video, a lot of these films are from the past 10 to 20 years due to the increase in popularity of gore recently. So there's a distinct lack of older films, but that's not because I don't like them, it's just because there aren't many. So it is what it is. I stand by my decisions that I make on my list. If you agree or disagree, or have any comments at all or suggestions for films that you think I might have missed, then please make sure to drop a comment down below. But anyway, let's get into it. This is the top 10 goriest festive themed horror films. Secret Santa is a 2015 film directed by Mike McMurran, starring Annette Wozniak, Jeff Almond and Keegan Chambers. A group of students have a party where they plan on exchanging their Secret Santa gifts, but the gifts are not what they seem. What's inside the present could be what kills them. Secret Santa is a low-budget but well-done slasher. The basic premise is unoriginal, just your basic slasher fare, but the idea of giving the murder weapons to the victim as a present is interesting and makes for some solid kills. As with most low-budget films, the sound needs more attention, but the film looks good. It has a convincing grindhouse look that not many people can produce, and it actually feels like it could have been made in the late 70s, early 80s. More thought could have gone into the design of the killer though. An interesting killer is the cornerstone of every slasher, so just black clothes and a ski mask isn't good enough these days. But the kills are pretty gory, and there are worse ways to spend 80 minutes. Silent Night Zombie Night is a 2009 film directed by Sean Kane, starring Jack Forsanito, Andy Hopper and Nadine Stenovich. It's a week before Christmas, and Officer Frank Talbot is preparing to leave both his wife and his longtime work partner when a virus breaks out, turning all of the citizens of LA into zombies. Now, with no way out, they're going to have to work together if they want to survive. Although the general feeling of the film isn't overly Christmassy thanks to the mild LA climate, it is still a Christmas film, and we even get a zombie Santa. The zombie makeup is pretty good, and as expected with zombie invasion films, there are several good kills, both human and zombie, some feeding scenes, and plenty of gunshots to the head. Budgetary limitations meant that their LA location is actually just a nondescript suburban neighborhood, but it works, and there's a decent side story involving the three main characters. Obviously there are moments that are ripped straight from other more famous zombie movies, but in general, Silent Night Zombie Night is a fun festive take on the undead invasion film. Mercy Christmas is a 2017 film directed by Ryan Nelson, starring Cole Gleason, Casey O'Keefe and Stephen Hubble. Michael Brisket meets the woman of his dreams at a Christmas party, and she invites him to join her and her family for Christmas dinner. A glass of spiked eggnog later, and he wakes up to find that he and some other unfortunate captives are on the menu. Basically a Christmas cannibal torture porn film, Mercy Christmas actually has a lot more to offer than it looks on paper. The writing is fairly strong, if a little cliched at times, and although there is no major character development, the main character is goofy and likeable, and the comedy element works well. The pacing is a little slow sometimes, and it takes a bit of time to get to the gore, but when we do get it, it's fairly effective. It's not overly gratuitous, but it is pretty well done. It's a great mixture of dark comedic moments and grisly imagery. Anna and the Apocalypse is a 2017 film directed by John McPhail, starring Ella Hunt, Malcolm Cumming and Sarah Swire. Teens in a small Scottish town have to deal with much more than adolescent angst when the zombie apocalypse hits. Anna and her friends have to sing, dance and fight their way to school to get to their loved ones and safety. This movie won't be to everyone's taste, as the zombie carnage is frequently interrupted with musical numbers, but somehow it works. The songs are catchy, the choreography is great, and the young unknown cast do a fantastic job bringing to life the fairly trite characters. The plot is basic but well written and full of heart. Luckily, some good old-fashioned zombie blood and gore stops the nausea kicking in from all the sweetness we're being fed. Anna and the Apocalypse is surprisingly enjoyable, but that's not to say that there should be more musical zombie films. One is enough, thank you. Red Christmas is a 2016 film directed by Craig Anderson, starring Dee Wallace, Jeff Morrell, and Sarah Bishop. A dysfunctional family is brought together for holiday festivities when a stranger turns up to terrorize and murder them all. Past choices and current grudges have to be addressed if they want to survive the night. Red Christmas is another not very Christmassy Christmas film. It's set in Australia where the festive season is in the height of summer. Luckily there are decorations to remind us of the theme, but the use of reds and greens to light some of the scenes is very annoying. Dee Wallace is fantastic as always, and she carries the film as the matriarch, trying to keep her family safe while also dealing with a decision she made 20 years previously. Some of the plot lines feel a little preachy and self-righteous and may polarize some viewers, but its heart is in the right place. One thing that the films could have benefited from is some of that famous Australian humour. It tries to get its point across in a very serious way, which is quite frustrating. It's a Christmas horror film, people. Lighten up. That and a few more kills could have got Red Christmas placed higher on this list. Black Christmas, or Xmas as the DVD cover says, is a 2006 film directed by Glenn Morgan, starring Michelle Trachtenberg, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Lacey Chabert. One Christmas Eve, 15 years after killing his mother and her lover, an escaped maniac returns to his childhood home, which is now a sorority house, and begins to murder the sorority sisters one by one. This might be a controversial choice. The original is a classic, and is widely considered to be the first slasher film. It's full of tension and several iconic moments, but it isn't gory. This remake loses a lot of the tension, but has a lot more elaborate and graphically festive kills, which is understandable when we consider that it was made by the creators of Final Destination. Everything in this remake is dumbed down considerably, which is almost definitely attributable to the fact that the Weinsteins were involved in the production. Once they stuck their fat pervy fingers in, they forced numerous rewrites and reshoots, making for a film that's all over the place. The feminist stance was disposed of and a sexual assault was included. Also, not forgetting the annoying backstory for the killer and a twist that is just laughable. All that being said, if you can look past the Slimestein's involvement and the fact that it's a remake, you have a film that looks great, has some great deaths, and is an entertaining festive slasher. Stalled is a 2013 film directed by Christian James, starring Dan Palmer, Antonia Burneth, and Tamarin Payne. While an office Christmas party is in full swing, WC, the janitor, see what they did there? Heads into the ladies' toilet to complete his jobs for the day, when the zombie apocalypse breaks out. Now stuck in a bathroom stall while the undead congregate outside, he must figure out how to escape with his life. Shaun of the Dead has a lot to answer for. Since its release, everyone and their mother has tried their hand at a zombie comedy. Most of them are terrible. Luckily, Shaun of the Dead is awesome, so when someone actually gets it right, it's fantastic. This is almost one of those films. Unfortunately, limiting the action to one location slows the pace in places. It does, however, give plenty of time and opportunity to connect with the main, and for most of the film, only character. The film crew make great use of the single location, and the camera work is fantastic, utilising every inch of the tiny area perfectly. Top all this off with some very funny moments and some great practical effects, and you have a refreshing addition to the zombie film genre. Secret Santa is a 2018 film directed by Adam Marcus, starring Michael Rady, Drew Lynch, and Deborah Sullivan. A traditional Christmas gathering for one particularly toxic family turns bad when someone spikes the punch and everyone turns way too truthful and way too murdery. Yes, this is the second film on the list called Secret Santa, but the title is where the similarities end. This particular Secret Santa is written by Adam Marcus, who also wrote Jason Goes to Hell and Texas Chainsaw 3D, and is as chaotic as it is violent. A lot of the first act is spent letting the viewer get to know the characters, of which the majority are truly awful, but purposely so. This film is all about extremes, from the despicable characters to the harsh humour and the over-the-top violence. Secret Santa feels like it wants to be Sam Raimi's best friend, but ends up trying too hard. None of the characters are really likeable, but that just means we can look forward to them being killed without feeling guilty, and enjoy the vicious insults in the meantime. There are plenty of satisfying kills, and the practical effects are great, although the CGI blood spurts can be annoying, but they go hand in hand with the cartoonish violence, so they can be forgiven. If you dread family get-togethers, this could be your new favourite film. Jack Frost is a 1997 film directed by Michael Cooney, starring Scott MacDonald, Christopher Allport and Stephen Mendel. Serial killer Jack Frost is arrested, and he's on his way to execution when the van he is in crashes into a tanker. The mysterious liquid the tanker is carrying melts Frost down and infuses his cells with the first thing they come into contact with, the snow. He returns as a vengeful snowman to exact his revenge on the man that sent him to his death. I put off watching this for years because I thought it looked awful, and that's coming from someone who loves bad movies. When I eventually watched it, I realised I was right. It is awful, but my god, is it entertaining. Jack Frost isn't overly gory, but it does rely solely on practical effects, for better or for worse, and it does have some never seen before, or since for that matter, kills. This film often gets confused with the depressing Michael Keaton family film of the same name, which was released after this one, but be aware, don't get showing this one to your kids. This Jack Frost has a potty mouth, kills people in various gruesome ways, and then there's the infamous bath scene with Shannon Elizabeth, which is totally unnecessary, but is so ridiculous it can't be taken seriously enough to be offensive. Overall, Jack Frost is campy crap, in a good way. A Cadaver Christmas is a 2011 film directed by Joe Zerul, starring Dan Hale, Hanlon Smith Dorsey and Yosh Hayashi. A blood-soaked man enters a bar and tells the occupants that the dead have come back to life and are running amok in the local university. Unsurprisingly, nobody believes him, so a ragtag group heads there to investigate. Turns out he was telling the truth, and now this bunch of losers is the only thing stopping the possible end of the world. The trouble with making a Christmas movie, or any movie designed around a specific holiday, is that the only time people watch those films is during that particular festive period. This is definitely the case for this film. A Cadaver Christmas has not had the chance to gain the notoriety it deserves. This film has the perfect blend of horror and comedy. The actors all do a fantastic job, and every character is relatable in some way. Even though the lead actor, who is also the co-writer, comes across as a bit obnoxious, he is still very good, but the other characters add most of the humour and the heart. There is a 70s grindhouse look to the film which can sometimes be annoying, but works here. It doesn't feel too much or too forced. It feels almost natural. It has zombies, it has Christmas stuff, it is genuinely funny, it's sometimes juvenile.
Practically perfect in every way.
And that's a direct quote. There were some films that were very close to making it on the list, but didn't for various reasons. Here are a few of them. The Children isn't as annoying as most horror films that use kids as the antagonist, and this one goes to places some are too scared to, but it just isn't gory enough. Ugly Sweater Party is a comedy horror about an evil Christmas sweater that possesses the person that wears it. Some crappy CGI, but it's pretty entertaining. Homesick is pretty gory, with some good comedy, but it's just not Christmassy enough to make the list. Calvaire, or The Ordeal, is a French film about backwoods country folk. It isn't very gory, or really very Christmassy, but it is very bizarre, and has several disturbing moments. Treevenge is a great short film about killer Christmas trees, but it's only 16 minutes long, and this list is for feature-length films. Don't forget to check out my other festive-themed top 10 list on my channel. But aside from that, I will be getting back to normal reviews just after Christmas. I'm really excited about all the films that are still to come. Take a look at my list of films on Letterboxd. The link is in the description below as always. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click on the bell to keep up to date with new content. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a bloody good Christmas.